What's going on, people? Ben here from Bateman Talks Tottenham, back with another video of my dad, Paul.
Hi.
Where today we'll be discussing Ange Postecoglou's latest press conference and that Christian Romero interview from Ali Gold. Right, well, we'll start with the Romero interview. It was interesting that he said that there was a rift between the players and Conte since the World Cup. I mean, that's not necessarily a surprise to hear from how it ended, but I didn't think it was as early as straight after the World Cup, did you?
No, there were a few whisperings about things, but
Richarlison.
Yeah, nothing really long-winded.
I guess maybe it showed towards the end of the season when things did start to go wrong, didn't it?
Absolutely.
You could argue.
Yes, nobody knew what they were doing.
Yeah. But it's also interesting for him to say he wants to spend his best years at Spurs. I mean, I personally thought a player of his calibre, he might think off the back of winning the World Cup, that he might want to move on from Spurs and win trophies himself. But it sounds like he wants to stick around, doesn't it?
He does, and he thinks that the passion is there, and he wouldn't stay if it wasn't.
Yeah, no, definitely. And also he touched upon Hugo Lloris, saying he felt sorry for him that his last game was that infamous Newcastle 6-1 defeat that we all kind of want to forget about, don't we?
Very much so.
I mean, that was one of the worst games I think I have ever watched.
Yeah, it was completely depressing.
Right, well that moves us on well to Postecoglou's press conference, where one thing he spoke about was the idea of a back four of Udogie and Pedro Porro. Obviously we saw Porro in a back four in that Newcastle game, which didn't go well with him and Perisic, but Ange seemed to think that it could work with Porro and Udogie. Do you think so?
Well, I don't really know, but he's working with them day in, day out, and if he thinks he can make it work, then I trust him.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that could be exciting to see for fans, but obviously with Porro's not frailties at the back, but he's not the strongest defender, it could be something that some fans could seem a bit uneasy about. Would you see that?
Yeah, but if they're prepared to work on that, maybe he can do it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And also in his press conference, it was quite a funny moment at the start where he said about getting show and tell out of the way in relation to obviously that Bayern Munich journalist. I mean, it's good to see that journalist get banned, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And nice to see that however frustrated and annoyed he is, he's still got a sense of humour. No,
definitely. And Postecoglou in his press conference is joined by Oliver Skipp, who obviously had just played in the England under-21s Euros, where he said that Skipp was definitely in his plans, and he was pleased to see him win the tournament, and because of him being in that tournament, he's levels a bit above the rest of them in terms of fitness, because he was part of that group and had such a short break. I mean, you think that means we're going to see him in the game tomorrow, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, whether he needs a break is another thing.
Yeah.
But, he'd still got all the energy going.
Yeah, I think that's a difficult one. Obviously, he's made the choice. Ange said they gave him a choice to play him so soon after this tournament. You do wonder, could that come back to bite him with some injuries?
Well, he's probably young enough to cope with it.
Yeah, true. Obviously, previous managers we've seen talk about their thoughts on Skipp being a captain in the future, and Postecoglou has said that he doesn't think leadership has to be defined by age, and that from how he conducts himself, he could be a good leader. I mean, clearly, if people like Conte and Mourinho and Poch are saying he could be a captain in the future, you'd think they might be right, wouldn't you?
Yes, you would. I mean, it's down to personality, and I don't know who else there is quite with the right personality.
Yeah. Well, he did touch up on Son also, didn't he, being
yes.
potential captain in the future, which is interesting. Some people have said that with Son's seniority in the squad, with the potential Kane goes, obviously Lloris has gone as captain, potentially even Sonny could be the captain. And Ange said how he knows all the players well and sort of mixes between the different player groups. Do you think Sonny could be a contender?
Well, he could be, but it's a question of who's the most vocal during the game.
Yeah.
Some of them, are generally a bit on the quiet side.
Yeah. Yeah, ideally you want to have 11 captains on the pitch, really, don't you?
Yeah.
Obviously, Ange has also spoken about the need for a centre-back. Once again, feels like we're a bit of a broken record talking about centre-backs at Spurs. But he said at least one centre-back, which sounds a bit worrying, really, when we want multiple centre-backs, don't we?
Well, certainly. I think at least two.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, there's some new rumours that Sanchez has had his deal agreed between Spurs and Moscow. Obviously, there were reports of a fee being thrown about, but apparently they have agreed the deal now, but it's a case of Sanchez
Well,
wanting
we
to
can
go.
understand him hesitating. Who wants to go and live in Moscow at the moment?
That sort of uncertain situation with the war going on in there. Right, we're moving on to tomorrow's game. Ange said that it's because of the game being postponed the other day, we're going to have very similar to the other day with sort of 2 11s playing both halves and people like Ndombele being back. I mean, are you excited to see him?
Oh, very, yes. I'm just wondering, what kind of work he's going to be able to get out of him.
Yeah.
We know what his abilities are. It's just
definitely.
Making it all join up.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Sanchez is in that squad. Obviously, he wasn't last time out, but with that move pending, I reckon he probably won't be, because Ange said players like him are looking for a move. But are there any people in particular you're looking forward to see?
Well, before that, just a shame that Alfie Whiteman's been injured in training, because he would have probably had the opportunity to have 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's a shame. He was stretchered off with an ankle injury. It said, obviously, we wish him all the best.
Yeah, that's right. Yes,
really
but I'm very interested to see Udogie again, and maybe Devine, who did some great stuff. Quite a few of them, actually.
Yeah.
Very exciting all round.
And also, Ange spoke about Solomon and Sarr in his press conference, saying how Solomon has really fitted in with the squad, which is good to hear and has impressed the players. But also Sarr, how he is part of his plans. He says he's an exceptional talent, particularly for his age. And then moving on from that, Skipp was spoken about Sarr, the game he played with Sarr in the AC Milan game in the Champions League, and how they're obviously both quite young players, but that they get on well, and maybe they could be a good partnership in the future with their age.
Yeah,
it's
that's good.
Definitely an exciting prospect in the future, would you say? I mean, both of them.
Definitely. I mean, there's quite a few midfield options coming through now.
Yeah, definitely. And also, Skippy, he was asked about Postecoglou's system. Obviously, very different to the managers we've had in the past couple of years. But he said that with how academies play nowadays, the players should have some sort of prior knowledge, because that's how the teams in the academies play. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to look out for my show with Harry Scarf as a match reaction after the game tomorrow at around 3 p.m. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, come on you Spurs!